And they were like, holy crap, you're talking to me. And then they were like, actually, yeah, I might be able to help you with that, but this is a bit of an unusual ask. Trust me, you'll also be a lot happier if you're able to laugh whenever Gaijin does something pointlessly destructive. Hello! I am Aoyalaipe, and I like to hop into top tier matches in War Thunder, and then personally kill the entire enemy team by myself. Welcome to my channel. So Gaijin has finally managed to fix the radar gun sight problem by breaking it even harder. I think you can tell how much faith you have in Gaijin based on how far into this video you can go before realizing how it ends. So allow me to share this ridiculous story. And I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I'm going to set this to background footage of the JH-7A, which is one of my favorite planes in this game, but I've never got around to featuring it. And I will make a full-length video about it, despite the fact that no one clicks on videos about obscure Chinese strike planes. Anyways, let's get back to the story. You see, back in March, Gaijin decided to, oopsie daisy, break, all of the Gunplay in Rank 8 Air Arcade, and then not fix it for 16 months. When I said March, I was talking about March of last year. That's when they decided to add the Ballistic Lead Indicator System. The evil, very bad, no good Ballistic Lead Indicator System, or BLIS for short. Gaijin appears to call it the floating sight, which, fun fact, the JH-7A didn't have. That's one of the reasons I liked it so much. So, when I became the first TTAA player to ever become an official content partner, I went on a quest to find a way to convince Gaijin to pretty please, at long last, on behalf of everyone, add a button to disable this infernal system. Just add an off button for it, nothing else, that's it. An Aoyalaipe button, if you will. After all, they already have a button for literally everything else in this game, and the main problem is that Gaijin was like, since when do people play top tier Air Arcade? And I don't know, but my channel is doing just fine. So anyways, then Gaijin was like, let me find someone who knows about top tier Air Arcade, and then they were like, actually, we don't have a guy for that. Now, most people would just accept that this doesn't really matter because who the hell makes gun kills in Rank 8 Air Arcade anyways, right? Like, you just shoot people with AIM-9Ms or spam rams, right? But hey, as one of my real-life friends pointed out, when they suggested I learned realistic so I could play with everyone else, my response was to get everyone else in the world to play arcade. As I've mentioned many times before, top-tier Air Arcade players are not exactly known for being reasonable about anything. Okay, so let me explain what the issue was with this radar gun sight thing. So you see, in top-tier Air Arcade, gunfights are a wonderfully strange thing. Sure, ammo conservation isn't nearly that big of a deal, that's kind of the obvious part, but the real difference is that gunfights tend to take place at completely asinine speeds. Everyone has to keep their speed up. That's how you keep the tsunami of missiles from killing you. If you slow down to energy trap someone in a rate fight, without having a massive positioning advantage, the tsunami of missiles will get you. So you tend to shoot people at asinine speeds while flying at asinine speeds. And when that happens, the famous gray dot is totally useless. You know that gray dot that tells you where to aim? There's a delay, so it doesn't actually show up in time, and it's pretty inaccurate at high speeds anyways. It's also way too short range. It only shows up when you're about 3/4 of a kilometer away. As I explained in my guide on bullets, top tier planes go a respectable fraction of the speed of a bullet, so the range of your gun varies wildly depending on if the plane is going towards you, away from you, or something in between. Let me cut to a handful of examples real quick. This means you need a different way to aim, and the best way to aim by far is to lock your radar onto your opponent so you can use this green circle as an aiming reference, or what Gaijin calls the display of the lead by the radar interface. Then you hose the area ahead of your opponent with bullets for them to fly into. The green circle wouldn't give you the exact range, but it would give you the bearing. And that's what's really important. This actually meant that every plane in arcade with a radar had a long-range gun sight on it. It added quite a bit of variety and depth to the game. Like, one of my favorite things about the F-104 is that you could just absolutely snipe people with it. Just ask the people I sniped with it. Be more like this guy. This guy's awesome. I always appreciate a good sport. And hey, you remember that real-life friend that told me this? Yeah, here's a video of me absolutely nailing him with the green circle, and then here's me doing it to him again when he respawned. Look, if I see my friend on the other team, I'm like, hey, I know exactly how my friend thinks. Wouldn't it be funny if I abused that to kill him in a really dirty way? Man, I'm such a terrible friend. So anyways, Arcade already had a radar gun sight, it was great, everyone loved it, and it worked fine. Then Gaijin added the Ballistic Lead Indicator System, the very evil, no good, very bad Ballistic Lead Indicator System. And this is where the tragic comedy begins. Now, if your plane has Bliss and you lock your radar onto a target at close range, it hijacks your reticle, and it gives you the annoying floating sight. And it's extremely bad at hitting height-speed targets, and you can't turn it off. So you still know where to aim your reticle, you still have the fixed lead from the radar interface, but now you just don't know where your reticle is. This problem is incredibly and constantly obvious to all top-tier arcade players, but literally no one else. But it means that any plane that doesn't have this aiming assist feature is actually better at aiming. Now, this is obviously very silly, but it's also a bug. Now, when I spoke to a colorful variety of people, each of whom only seemed to know roughly 75% of what was going on, because, you know, playing top-tier arcade is kind of a new idea. You're welcome for that. The problem with fixing this problem started to emerge. It is a bug, but it's a bug that can only be fixed by adding a feature, because an off button is a feature. And it appears there's one channel at Gaijin for fixing bugs, and another channel for asking for features. And if you tried to send it up one chain to get it fixed, someone along the way would inevitably say it was in the wrong chain and kick you back to the beginning of the other one. And this is how you have very simple problems that don't get fixed for over a year. You know, I see the logic. After all, if you're, say, trying to get a cargo ship from, say, Thailand to New York City, you know, sometimes you want to take the Suez Canal, sometimes you want to take the Panama Canal, and sometimes you want to burn down the ship for the insurance money. So after much haranguing, someone at Gaijin directed me to go talk to an official community helper to see if they could fix the problem. And these are normal volunteer players who help other random people with like random game problems, like on the forums. So I just went ahead and hit up a random community helper / manager or whatever it's called, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Aoyolaipe, and this is gonna sound really weird, but Gaijin told me that you could help me fix all of the guns in arcade, you know, in their game." Apparently that is within the powers of random volunteer players on the War Thunder forums. And they were like, "Holy crap, you're talking to me." And then they were like, actually, yeah, I might be able to help you with that, but this is a bit of an unusual ask. It seems that community helpers don't get this sort of question all that often. I love the strange situations I get into sometimes, and the basic idea that I walked away from that conversation with was that I would make just a completely normal-ass bug report asking Gaijin to pretty please add an off button for the terrible, no good, very bad ballistic lead indicator system. And then I would get hundreds of people to upvote it. To be fair, two different systems were fundamentally conflicting. That is pretty clearly a bug. And it worked. To its credit, Gaijin finally decided to fix the problem. And they removed the green circle from every single plane in the game, including the planes that don't even have Bliss on them. The green circle just doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. It's completely taken out of the game. Yeah, you know the fixed lead everyone liked? Yeah, it's gone now. We don't have to worry about enjoying it anymore. That's right, Gaijin took a look at a fun system everyone loved that was conflicting with a not fun system everyone hated, and they took out the fun system from every plane in the game, including the planes where the systems didn't even conflict at all. Which, I mean, in hindsight, knowing Gaijin, I feel like I should have predicted this is what would have happened. I mean, it's not like hopping into an F-86 and sniping people with the green circle was really fun or anything. I mean, it totally wasn't gonna be the big highlight in the video I was going to make about this particular Japanese premium. No, I don't need to totally redo the video after Gaijin abruptly removed the most fun thing about this plane. And you know, the F-86 actually had a radar gun sight in real life, and the interface actually kinda sorta worked like how the green circle does in-game, or did in-game now that it's no longer in it. And it's ditto for the F-104. Man, I haven't even made my F-104 guy yet, and I've already gotten the plane nerfed. Sorry about that. Man, I just got Gaijin so hard. Gaijin got me good this time. Honestly, I'm way more amused than frustrated. Trust me, you'll also be a lot happier if you're able to laugh whenever Gaijin does something pointlessly destructive. So I hope you enjoy Bliss, because you're stuck with it forever and there's still no off switch for it. Like, I know top tier arcade isn't exactly the most played game mode, but also like, this was literally the only thing we ever asked for. And I'm not a coder, but it didn't seem like that big of an ask. Also, it wasn't even like a real feature, it was just a bug fix, so we could use a feature that already existed. So I made another bug report, and I'll link it in the description if you want to upvote it again. To be clear, I'm not trying to abuse the bug report process here. I don't think Gaijin intended to resolve the conflicting radar gun sights problem by deleting radar gun sights from the game. That does technically solve the conflict, but I'm pretty sure that was an unintended side effect of a bug fix gone wrong, which would in turn make the bug fix a bug. If, on the off chance that was actually intended, Then Gaijin also has a place on the War Thunder forums to submit suggestions to developers. I'll link that too if you want to use it. I mean, if Gaijin just undid that last fixed attempt and then added an off button for the floating gun sight, then everything would be hunky-dory. Call me crazy, but I just think that would be way simpler and less disruptive. Now, in the background video, my team lost and I ran out of gas, but I still thought that was an okay performance considering this was my very first time ever flying that plane. I'll have a review out in a few weeks showing what that plane can do once I learned how to fly it. Anyways, if you subscribe and ring the bell, you won't need to remember how to spell AOLIPay next time you want to watch one of my videos.